This is Hayden from S8CTV. Today I'm very lucky to be joined for the first time here in Newcastle by Kiaran Macdonald. Kiaran, how are you doing today?
Doing all good, you know. What a great opportunity this is. Can't wait to get in there and showcase my talent on the biggest of stages.
Definitely. So yeah, obviously, like we say, massive stage, Kelly Murtazaliev undercard. Sort of turning professional. How did this all sort of come about for yourself? Obviously, very successful amateur career. Like it was touched on the stage, you could have went to the Olympics, but they cut out the silver medal, I believe. Sort of turning professional. Where did that sort of decision come from? Was it sort of something that you've been thinking of for a while, or where did that sort of decision come from?
Yeah, so for me, obviously, it was always going to be a thing. Go to the Olympics, turn professional. You know, try and get to the top of the professional game as well as the top of the amateur game. I think for me now it's about progressing as quickly as possible. Like I say, I'm not really here to hang about, but I'll move as quickly or as slowly as Anthony Crolla wants. I mean, I've got a great man in my corner, on Saturday night, who's been and done it himself, and he'll guide us the way he thinks is fit.
Sort of with that, obviously training with Anthony Crolla, how's that sort of been, and where did that sort of relationship come from?
It's massive. Obviously, having a man like that in your corner is you can't even put a price on that. Sort of when I was leaving the JB setup, sort of just be something I'll try with Anthony, and literally went in the gym. I was going to try a couple of gyms and just thought straight away like that's the place I want to be. He just made us feel so at home. With obviously the talent I have as well, and I believe he can get the best out of it. And we've only had a really short camp really, just found out before Christmas, but I feel like I'm developing massively already. Sitting down on my shots a lot more, as he touched on in the press conference there. I was a lot like a fleet-footed amateur, but professional games are about entertainment. I'm here to entertain.
How does stuff sort of change? I'm always quite curious when amateurs turn professional. Obviously, like say you're on the GB setup, but sort of training changing. How much does training sort of change? Obviously, with the pros, so you're not fighting as much, but you're fighting over longer periods. How much does sort of change in training, in preparation for that?
So to be honest, as an amateur, an elite amateur with JB, you're training 3 times a day. It's really high intensity all the time. You've got to be sort of ready to go at a drop of a hat because you're competing so often. You probably compete 4 or 5 times a week, maybe do that six times a year, 7 times a year. It's quite an intense schedule, but as a professional, you've got a little bit more time, so your camp can peak and drop at the right times. You can practice a lot more on sparring and work on things in the gym, where as an amateur you haven't really got time to be working on things. It's just staying fit and staying as sharp as you can all the time, and that's probably the biggest difference. And obviously you're on a one-to-one setup as a professional, where as an elite amateur you're surrounded by all the other best fighters in the country, so that boosts you, but you don't get as much one-to-one time with the coaches.
What's the best piece of advice Anthony's given you going into Saturday night?
For me, his advice is just enjoy it. Don't try too hard to impress. Your skills should impress anyway. You're good enough to be on these stages, so you just need to believe in yourself and enjoy it. Your debut is always one that you're never going to get, and to have it in more or less my hometown, just up the road anyway, and to do the ticket numbers I've done on short notice is massive. So I think if I just do that and enjoy it, I don't see why I wouldn't be on many more big shows.
What's sort of been, obviously, let's say there you've not got a promotional contract yet, but has there been sort of a plan, if you and Anthony sort of talked about a plan for yourself, how active you want to be this year? Say on the stage here, you're hoping to impress on Saturday, get a contract on Monday. How active you sort of like to be this year, and what sort of stead would you like to be in, like sort of this time next year?
Yeah, so for me, obviously with the amateur background, I expected to sort of walk out and get it into a contract straight away and sort of propel from there, but an injury hit just after the amateurs finished, and that's knocked us back for a year, and sort of haven't competed for a year, so that sort of gets you pushed to the back of the queue a little bit, and more active fighters are going to get the deals. So realistically, my plan was just get out this year, and I'm not going to be as active as possible. Like Anthony said, he wants to move as quick as possible, so that's good. It's about learning on the job and learning quick, because I believe like once I do boxing and impress and I do get a contract, then obviously it's up to the matchroom then or wherever I get a contract with, to sort of guide my career in the right way. For me, it's just enjoy it and do my thing, and I think there's no reason why I shouldn't.
Going on to Saturday night, do you know much about your opponent or not really? Have you had much time to look at him? Or?
Believe it or not, I actually boxed him in a national tournament for Great Britain. I think it was a tournament in Lithuania about 5 years ago now. We both won on the quarter-final day, then boxed him on the semi-final day. So he's a seasoned international who will actually come to win, which will probably benefit me really. It'll give us gaps to exploit. He's not going to just tuck up and run away and be a punching bag, you know, which is not going to benefit anyone. I've seen him as an amateur, and I've obviously shared the ring with him, so there's not really much to look at really because I've experienced it.
What sort of goals have you set for yourself, turning professional? I believe you said there on the stage that you want to win a world title at Stadium of Light. What sort of goals have you set for yourself, as a professional turning pro?
Basically for me it's just to go as far as I can and push myself as much as I can and get in all the big fights. Obviously everyone wants to win a world title and I'm no different. I'd love to win a world title, and that's what I'm going to set out to do. I'm going to take each step as it comes, and you've got to have big dreams, otherwise you're in the wrong sport. But everything will come at the right time, and he'll help guide us and get us in the right fights, and then it's up to me to do the talking, if I pick belts up along the way, which is what I expect to do. But it's mostly enjoying the professional career, There was a time when I had the injury just after the Olympic setback, and it was a dark place, and I could never have been boxing again, so I've got to really enjoy every moment and soak it all in.
Definitely. Obviously looking at the main event on Saturday night, local Sunderland boxer Josh Kelly, he'll be taking on Bakram Zaliev. Fantastic fight for the IBF world title. How do you see that one going? Are you backing Josh to get it done?
No, absolutely. Josh was in the same amateur gym as me when we were kids, and he's obviously he lives around the corner from us. Well, when he was growing up, so obviously we've got like a close connection anyway. But his skill set's unbelievable, and I believe he can beat anyone in the world when he's on. When he's on it, he beats anyone in the world. It's not an easy task, but fighting for a world title shouldn't be an easy task. It's the biggest prize in boxing, and I think he's matured perfectly now. He's coming at the right time. I don't see anything else other than Josh Kelly. I think he'll go the distance, but I think it's going to be he'll steal the show and do a wide points decision.
For people tuning in on Saturday night that maybe haven't seen you box before as an amateur, what can they expect from yourself?
From myself, I've got a great boxing IQ. I've travelled the world, I've done it all. But as an amateur, it's a completely different game. It's all about skill setting. Skill set is massively in the pros, but the biggest thing in the pros is to entertain. You've got to be in that and entertain and knock people out. You've got to show that you can punch, which I believe I can. So for me, I'm just going to get out there and just enjoy it and do my thing. You're probably going to see a bit more aggression than what you would see as an amateur, but this is just it's a new career, it's a new job, and this is what I've been working on with Anthony in the gym.
Definitely. Last one for me, Kiaran. Obviously, we know I'm putting sponsors on boxing. Have you got any sponsors you want to thank last year? Anybody in particular you want to thank? Yeah, floor's yours.
No, absolutely. Obviously, from starting my amateur career, everyone at Sunderland ABC, they've been massive for me development. And all my sponsors, each and individually, they don't understand how much that it means to us fighters. It lets us be full-time fighters, and dedicate ourselves to our craft, and that's where we get our best out of ourselves, not having to go to work on the morning and train on night. So every sponsor's been absolutely massive, and I can't thank them enough. And seeing me on these big stages is what they want to see. So it's up to me to keep that.
Definitely, Kiaran. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck on Saturday.